I'm not even gonna pretend that this room is clean because I'm in the process of moving and changing countries. I'm revealing all of it soon, but thing is that you need to forgive me for this shit because this is my sister's room. And so hello and welcome back to what's the name of my show? Uh, the Early Show with Michael Knightsberg. Well, these are my notes, so don't judge me if I write down my own shit because I am an ADHD and I try to be. I am an ADHD, so you gotta forgive me because I can't keep stuff in my head. So, guys, have you ever asked yourself why does poverty exist? Never? Shouldn't you be asking? Well, I have asked that question, by the way, because I had been living through a hard time when I was a kid. A really, really hard time that you, privileged white Christian males, have not been through. And you live in America, okay? So don't even pretend that, I lived a hard life, because America is cool. So I remember a couple of moments. It was really evident to me that my country was fucked up. When in the few videos before, I said that my country was going through political turmoil, and it was. And personally, in my family, my dad wasn't earning like a lot. Back then, he was earning like $300 a month, which is really less. He used to go on a public transport and to his office. I used to go to a school which was like not really big or something. It was really tough. Life was really, really tough. My school's fees, you can't imagine, it was $10 for the four of us who were studying in that school. Like, we weren't living a privileged life. So I knew in my head that something was really, really wrong with whatever is happening. And so I saw these trends in the country. A government came and they promised a lot of stuff, and then they built roads and everything. You see, it's very easy when people don't have something, they don't have the roads, they don't have the infrastructure or anything, and they're very hungry for it, you could say. And when you give it to them, you give it in a way that sort of is like buying them off or something. Yeah, that is what happens. So the governments, when they're in power, they like to say that, oh, we're gonna make Pakistan like the countries of Europe. They are look at them, just look at them, they're so clean, they have the roads. None of them mention the fact that they have good structures, but all of them mention that they have good infrastructure, because that is the stuff that we lack. That is the stuff that we don't have. So in order to, they sort of, it's like when you put a carrot in front of a donkey and then you just stick it, like hang it in front of him and tries to run. That's the sort of thing that they're doing with us. So in Pakistan, there's a lot of lawlessness. Roads, they don't have any laws. People drive around like crazy. Every year it rains in Karachi, and every single day this happens to the city. Yeah, that is what happens. And generally the country's fucked up, if I say so myself. But the thing is that I was always really optimistic, but I went through 3 regime changes in my time in Pakistan. I live abroad now. No, I don't. I live in Pakistan. I've been coming to Pakistan like every single year for 7 years, I think. And as I said, 3 regime changes. And in all 3 of them, the thing that I noticed was that the previous government, before the elections, they build sort of the infrastructure, and then they bribe us with the infrastructure, and they say, look, oh, we did this, we did that. And then after the next government comes, they don't do anything for 4 years, okay? So they don't build anything. And then what happens is suddenly everything, starts getting built in God damn, it was a tissue paper. I thought it was a mouse or something. It scared the shit out of me. For 4 years, nothing happens. And then on the 5th year, the last year when the elections are going to happen, you see all this great shit, you know, roads are being built, electricity is like, oh my god, you don't need to have power cuts or anything. No, none of that. None of that. Fuck that. We're a new Pakistan now. We're in a new phase. We don't need that shit. Okay, you're not gonna get that. That is the old stuff. And then the next government comes and everything that they did was undone, and then we're back to when we started back in like fucking 1947. So being the curious man that I am, I didn't always used to be a man, but being the curious man that I am, I always thought to myself, well, why does it have to be so? So I was always really insecure about this. I always felt like, okay, this stuff is gonna get made, city's gonna get cleaned, everything is gonna be good, and then it's gonna be undone. So what's the point, you know? So there was a question that I asked myself, and that was, why do we have to go through this? Why do we as Pakistanis, or as people who live in the third world, so why do we have to go through this when all of the European countries and America and everyone, they don't go through this? Why are we, you know, the test subjects or whatever? I don't know. Why do we have to go through this shit? And I found an answer. It took me 10 years to find it, but I did. Now this is a theory that I wrote. So I was 18 when I wrote this, so it might not explain every single thing that happens in a country, but so if you consider the power triangle, so the power pyramid is the core basis of this entire theory. So if you take the pyramid and divide it into 3 parts, just focus on the top and the bottom part. Okay, on the top you have the code writers who tell the machinery on what to do. So if I'm a representative and I'm part of the code part, the top part, then I'm gonna write a code, i.e. a bill, and then it's gonna get accepted and it's gonna turn into a law. Okay, now the funny thing is that whenever we want to implement the law, it's not the code that implements the law. They're just deciding what should be the law. The people who are going to actually implement the law are the people in the bottom, the machinery. That's where the people who are going to actually implement the law are at the bottom of the pyramid. Make sense? So the bottom part can be imagined as being the FBI, the FBR. We have the FBR. We have the police, everything. So the 3 questions that every lawmaker should be asking when they're making a new law. So the law itself, how he's gonna apply it, and who's gonna do it. So if you think about who as being, let's say, FBI, and how is the code or the rules that the FBI has to adopt, and the law being the law that is being implemented. Now in the middle part of the pyramid, it's known as the balance, or as I like to call it, the balance, but it's the judiciary. I don't need to explain it to you, but when the explanation of how the world is divided into a naturalized government and a denaturalized government is coming up right now. I'm really excited. So if a government is naturalized, what means is that the 3 parts of the pyramid are divided and they are independent when it comes to doing anything. So if a code is written and it says that they have to do something, they have to do it. And if anyone stops them from doing it, it's a denaturalized government. You see, all of these institutions, they act as checks and balances on each other. So if the government isn't doing its job, it's the NAB's job, the NAB's job to catch them. Now, who's gonna catch the NAB if they don't do it? If it's the other one. So it's like a well-oiled machine when a government is naturalized. Whenever you pollute the machinery with foreign substances or things that should not be there, then you have issues that clearly result in inconsistency of application of law and obviously chaos. So the final explanation comes when you look at the pyramid and you look at Pakistan. You see the lawmakers over there. They run the machinery. The government, which should be part of the code, is running the machinery, which is clearly stupid when it comes to naturalization. So what the pyramid is that it's upside down. And it's not going to be in balance, and it's going to fall one day, and the entire country is going to collapse, and then you have many different provinces and many different countries breaking up, and then it's going to be a racial issue, and it's going to be unjust, and it's going to it's going to be a mad thing, and it's going to become like a Russia thing, and it's going to millions of people will die, and it's a mess. What I say is, it's not about whether the government, whether people are religious or not. It's stupid bullshit. It's just the pyramid. Stand it upright. Stand it upright. And unlike the explanations that some other YouTubers give, this is not due to religion. It's due to balance, and nobody's that spiritual, by the way. Thanks for watching.